I walk into the Evergreen Resort's grand ballroom, and instantly wish I'd stayed home. Crystal chandeliers spill light like rain across marble floors, while money murmurs through the crowd in respectful hushes. Michael's hand finds the small of my back, steady, warm, a quiet anchor. "Breathe," he whispers, his surgeon's gaze skimming me, cool and clinical. "We earned this place," he says, and I nod. Leo yanks at his bow tie, patience already fraying on our 6-year-old. "Mom, this thing's trying to strangle me," he groans. I crouch, loosen the satin knot and smile. "Just for a bit, buddy, remember our deal, good behavior now." Pool later. The crowd parts for a heartbeat and my chest stalls mid-breath. A profile I know like a scar catches the edge of my sight. That tilt of her head, the lean when she laughs. 11 years gone, yet my body recognizes it on contact. The bride turns, flute lifted, eyes glowing. Our gazes lock across the glitter and noise. "Grace, my sister." The glass in my hand trembles, a tiny quake betraying the shock smashing through me. I hadn't placed the name, Daniel Brooks, on the invite. Didn't connect the dots, assumed she still signed Collins. Her gasp slices through the chatter, sharp and bright, head swivel. Music keeps playing, but a soft vacuum grows between us, stretching. Behind her, mother goes wax pale, then burns red. Father slides in front of Grace, a wall of broad shoulders just like always. "What are you doing here?" Mother hisses, loud enough to draw curious glances. The old shame lifts in my throat for one sick beat. I'm 21 again, rain-soaked, suitcase in hand, nowhere to go. Michael steps forward, voice calm even. "My wife is a guest. She's Medova, so the groom invited us himself." Medova ripples through clustered physicians like a dropped stone. I hear the whispers, see recognition bloom. "So," a woman in burgundy tells her companion. "That's Amber Collins." Rain seeps through memory and father's words follow. "If you're too ungrateful to help at the clinic, don't come back." The front door slam lands like a gavel, final. Now I stand upright in Valentino, dry, distant from that storm. The frightened girl is gone. In her place, a woman who built from zero, who refused to vanish. Dr. Daniel Brooks approaches, brow creased. His eyes flick between Grace's frozen face and my composed one. "You know Medova, so?" He asks my parents, then looks to me, interest kindling. "We've been trying to partner for months. Your post-op monitoring is rewriting recovery standards." Grace tries a smile, the edges crumble. Mother and father trade looks, panic behind the polish. The whisper swells, thicken, tugging attention. I could set the room on fire. I think I could drag 11 years of lies to the centerpieces. I could say how they told everyone I flunked out, how they pocketed my tuition for Grace. The power is finally in my hands. Instead I say gently, "Hello, Grace. Congratulations." The quiet lands like thunder. She flinches as if I'd shouted. Michael's hand returns to my back, asking without words. "Sergo." Leo peers up, oblivious to the current pulling underfoot. "Mom, is the lady in white your friend?" Daniel's gaze sharpens, cutting between us. His new wife and the not stranger who clearly is, Grace, he says, doubt threading his tone. "I thought you said your sister was," the sentence phrase in the air. Grace's eyes ping between her husband and our parents, speech failing her, for once. Have you ever stepped into a room and wished you could back out the door? The wise move would be to gather my family, slip away. Let Grace enjoy her perfect day, let the sleeping dogs sleep. But regret often wears fear's mask, and I stopped fearing a long time ago. "And this is my wife, Grace," Daniel announces, beaming. An arm settling at her waist, Stanford graduate, brilliant manager of her family's practice in Vermont. I stand 10 feet off, champagne untouched, watching my sister nod sweetly, accepting waves of doctors. Her pearls catch when she tilts, her childhood tell before stretching the truth. "The Collins Clinic has served our community 30 years, she says, voice balanced between pride and humility. "Family medicine with some geriatric care." Michael taps my elbow, drawing my attention sideways. A silver-haired woman, pantsuit neat, reads my badge. "Medova." Her eyes flare. "You're Amber Collins. Your summit talk last month was brilliant. That monitoring system is reshaping post-surgical recovery across 3 states. For actually," I say, smiling, "we just closed Northwestern." Across the room, Grace fumbles through platelet therapy chatter. The physician questioning her trades a look with his colleague. I thought Stanford moved away from that 3 years back, he says, brows knitting. Grace's laugh lifts a note too high. Well, you know academia. Some professors cling to older methods. Daniel's expression tightens almost invisibly, eyes narrowing. His arm eases off her waist, he's registering the mismatch. Amber. Father's voice behind me, same command, 11 years older. The tone that once sent me racing from school to answer clinic phones while Grace played piano. You need to leave, he says, stepping between me and the room. You're ruining Grace's day. Michael stiffens, but I press his forearm. I was invited by Daniel. I say low, steady, maybe explain why that bothers you. Father's jaw whitens. The tailored suit can't hide the small-town doctor beneath, authority ending at his door. Don't play coy, showing up, flashing whatever company you claim to run. Medova isn't a claim. Michael steps forward, every inch Harvard-trained surgeon. Boston's tech conference featured her as keynote. Her systems run in 27 hospitals nationwide. A guest pivots, recognizing the name. Across the hall, Mother hovers by Grace, frantically redirecting Daniel's colleagues, her hands flitting like trapped birds. Too late, the web of connections is already knitting. Physicians placing my face with my work. Leo tugs my fingers. Mom, cake now? You promised. In a minute, sweetheart. He looks past, fixated on Grace. Is she your sister? Did she go to Stanford like you? Dennis blanches before he can frame a story. Leo carries on, innocently. You showed me your college pictures. The red buildings were pretty. Grace has drifted closer, Daniel at her side. Her face freezes at Leo's line. Stanford? Daniel asks, searching between us. You went to Stanford too, Amber? Class of 2014, I answer simply. A distinguished cardiologist nearby turns to Daniel. You didn't realize your wife's sister is Amber Collins? Her predictive work for post-op complications is groundbreaking. Northwestern cut readmissions 22% with her system. 11 years of invention start to weigh on Grace's shoulders. Visible at last. She reaches for Daniel, who shifts away, attention now fixed on the professional circle around me. Rain drums against a dorm window in my memory. A bank statement glaring, numbers refusing sense. College fund emptied, wired to a stranger account the same day, a package from Grace. Spring break photos from Cancun, a trip I never understood how we could afford. I shake the past loose, return to the present. Across the ballroom, Daniel has Grace aside, their whispers heated. Confusion moves to disbelief, then hardens in his eyes as she clings to his sleeve. You told me you graduated from Stanford, he says, voice raised just enough to carry. I went there. I've never heard your name from any faculty. Grace's reply stumbles out, frantic. It was mostly remote, a special program they offered. Stanford medicine doesn't grant remote degrees, Daniel says flat. Never has. Color drains from her cheeks, the scaffolding giving way. Her eyes sweep the room, snatching at mine, desperate. Daniel steps back, smooths his tie, turns, and walks, deliberate, measured, away from Grace, straight toward me. Behind him, her stare clings like a drowning hand. He guides me from the crush, a gentle touch at my elbow. His fingers tremble slightly, the only crack in his polished calm. Let's find somewhere quieter, he says, voice even, eyes still tracking Grace with my parents. Heads bent, plotting, we settle in a small alcove, 2 velvet chairs, a tiny table. Muted light carves shadows across his face, sharpening confusion to angles. I'm sorry for the awkwardness, he says, fussing with his bow tie. The words stall on the ledge, the gap between questions and air. You didn't know Grace had a sister, I finish softly, keeping the tone neutral. His eyes widen. She mentioned you once, said you dropped out after a semester, couldn't handle the pressure, disappeared. The old wound throbs, but I don't flinch. Years of boardrooms taught me to bleed without showing it. I graduated summa cum laude, I say simply, while working 3 jobs. 3? His brow knots. Mornings at a cafe, evenings at the hospital front desk, weekends at a call center. The memory comes back heavy, bone-deep fatigue nodding into textbooks, grinding forward anyway. Part-time through school, no family help. Each word lands like a stone in still water, rings widening. Daniel's face shifts from fog to focus. The surgeon reassessing a scan. Stanford, he asks, naming his alma mater. I shake my head. Community college first, then State U. I couldn't afford Stanford after I discovered my college fund had been Reallocated to Grace's tuition. He supplies, the pieces locking in, the ballroom blurs again with other memories. 6 months on Sarah's lumpy couch. Showers at the YWCA after Jamie's boyfriend tossed me out. Ramen weeks to buy used texts. Begging extensions when triple shifts ate my hours. At the hospital desk, I continue, I met Michael. He was a resident then. I remember that night perfectly. Dinner break, health admin diagrams in my margins, eyelids dragging. He stopped, curious. You understand Kellerman's patient flow theory? He asked, surprised. It's flawed, I said, eyes still down. The bottleneck isn't intake. It's doc handoffs between departments. He pulled a chair, we talked until my break ended. Next day he brought coffee and more questions. Within months we sketched the prototype that became Medova's backbone. Daniel leans in. And Medova, you were office staff? Grace said that. A small smile tugs my mouth. We started in our apartment 7 years ago. Last quarter just under 400 million. Across the room my parents bracket Grace centuries. Dennis pacing tiny loops, face flushed. Margaret gripping her arm, knuckles white. Their eyes cut toward us, whispering in tight bursts. They'll try to split us up, I say calm. Daniel follows my gaze. They seem concerned. Michael approaches, phone low at his side, casual recording. A habit we learned surviving hostel rooms. Everything okay? He says, surgeon's skin flicking over me. Just catching up, I answer, warmth loosening my chest. This man sees me, not their story. Right on cue, Margaret bustles in, voice pitched to Carrie. Daniel, someone from Boston General is dying to meet you. Her eyes skim past me like I'm furniture. Familiar. Daniel doesn't move. In a moment, Margaret, Amber and I are having an important conversation. Mother's smile goes tight. Always the attention seeker, our Amber, she tells a nearby cluster. Jealous of her sister's accomplishments since childhood. The words hang like bitter smoke, guests shift, uneasy. I sit tall, quiet, Michael's hand warm on my shoulder. When the restroom door swings open 20 minutes later, I'm unsurprised to find Grace there. Mascara wand shaking, our gazes meet in the mirror. Why are you doing this to me? She asks, voice splintering. I rinse my hands, slow, precise. Doing what exactly? Ruining my wedding, making Daniel doubt everything. Tears track through her careful makeup. I'm not doing anything, I say softly. I'm existing. She slams the wand to marble. You were supposed to stay gone. And for the first time I see it. The fear under her anger. The house of cards beginning to tilt. They told everyone you dropped out, she blurts. That you couldn't handle responsibility, that you were. And yet here I am, I say. Handling quite a lot. I step out composed, return to Michael, fingers slotting into mine. Grace follows, face fresh but eyes cracked. The room's current has shifted. Subtle, steady. Guests drift toward us, drawn by real curiosity. A neurosurgeon swaps notes with Michael on monitoring alerts. A hospital admin slips me her card. Your system cut our complications 30%, she says. We'd love to expand. Daniel stands at my elbow, engaged, asking sharp questions about Medova's signaling layers. His brand new bride hovers at the edge, unmoored. Father strides in, shoulders squared, voice raised. Daniel. This is Grace's wedding, let's focus on her accomplishments. Silence rises like water, filling every space. Eyes flick from Daniel to Dennis to Grace's stretched smile. No one speaks. No one has to. Sometimes quiet tells the whole truth. I set my half-finished champagne on a passing tray. Check my watch. We've stayed enough. Across the hall, Michael catches my look while escaping an eager ortho. His small nod says we're aligned. Are we leaving? Leo tugs my hand, hope bright in his eyes. Pool time. Yes, buddy. One last thing. I slide a small cream envelope from my clutch. Inside, a certificate of Medova stock. No windfall, but a message. This is who I am now, not the desperate girl you discarded. Michael returns to my side, palm at my back. Ready? Almost. I scan for Daniel. The man deserves courtesy on his wedding day, even if his in-laws don't. We find him near the bar, watching Grace with an expression I know too well. Certainty curdling into doubt. My sister glides through conversations with practiced charm, but now I notice the flinch when terms turn technical. The quick detours. We're heading out, I tell him, offering the envelope. Congratulations again. He accepts it warmly. Thank you for coming, especially given His eyes tick toward my parents, hovering like circling birds. I appreciate the invite, I say and mean it. Closing this chapter matters more than I thought. He leans in, lowers his voice. I'd like to visit Moldova, professionally. Our eyes meet, the understanding easy. He knows, not everything but enough. My assistant will set it up. I hand him a card, aware of Grace watching, smile crazing like old porcelain. Mother glides over, social armor reset. Amber was always so driven, she tells a guest, light as spun sugar. Of course she had advantages we couldn't give Grace. Once that inversion would have cut. Now it's almost funny. What advantages, Mrs. Collins? Michael asks, mild. The 3 jobs. The night classes. Sleeping on couches after you took her tuition. Mother's face hardens, but Daniel's colleagues have drifted within earshot. She recalculates mid-breath. Leo looks up, brows knitted. Aren't those people your family, Mom? The question hushes everyone close enough to hear. Simple, direct, devastating. I kneel, meet his eyes. They're relatives, buddy. Family is different. Father puffs forward, same old posture. You can't just waltz back into our lives. I'm not walking back into anything, I say, quiet, final. I'm not here to expose you or make peace. I built my life, because you forced me to when you shut the door. A flash, rain in my jacket, a suitcase handle biting my palm, the sharp freedom of nothing left to lose. Behind me, Leo wrestles his bow tie again. Michael's hand settles on our son's shoulder, steady. Thank you, I tell my parents, and they blink, confused. Thank you for not giving me a chance. You made me make my own. Mother's face flickers between rage and social survival. For once she finds no words. I take Leo's hand, Michael falls in beside us. We leave unhurried, dignified, whole. No scenes, no speeches. Only the quiet power of walking away. Whispers patter behind us like light rain. But unlike that night 11 years ago, they don't reach me. I've built an umbrella of work that sheds their weather. In the lobby, Leo spins with joy. Pool time. 10 minutes to change, I'll meet you there, Michael tells him, ruffling his hair. As we cross to the elevators, I catch our reflection in polished stone. 3 people, solid, connected. Beyond the doors, I glimpse Daniel watching us go, then turning back to his bride, new questions in his eyes. Some weddings begin futures. This one ends a past. A final release of expectations I never needed, approval I don't want, pain I won't carry. Leo punches the elevator button, fierce and proud. Up we go. Yes, I say, smiling. Up we go. Indeed, sunlight cuts through my office windows, long and clean across the concrete. A month since the wedding, yet the memory lingers like a dream in a corner. I scan Boston Memorial's proposal, 8 figures of ink on my desk. Moldova's trial cut post-op complications by 37%. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't pick favorites. Dr. Daniel Brooks is here. Meredith crackles on intercom, my pen pauses. I haven't spoken to my sister's husband since that night. Send him in. Daniel arrives like a man carrying weight you can't see. Shoulders rounded, suit creased at the elbows, crescents under his eyes. Thanks for seeing me without notice, he says, hovering until I gesture to the chair. Coffee. I offer. He shakes his head. Can't stay long. I let silence do its work. I've spoken to a lawyer about annulment. He blurts, stones tumbling. Everything Grace told me was fabricated. She never went to Stanford, never managed your parents' clinic. She's the receptionist. I absorb it without flinch. Truth's waiting for someone to look. I'm sorry, I say and mean it. Your parents made her the face while they... He rakes a hand through his hair. The billing at their clinic. Medicare charges for procedures never performed, outdated codes on purpose. Grace helped. The slap isn't shock. It's confirmation. I didn't mean to drag you back, he adds. But investigating her past showed patterns, discrepancies. Your name appears in old records, then vanishes 11 years ago. The skyline wavers in summer heat beyond my glass. I built this view from air, they built theirs from stories. They used my college fund for Grace. I say simply. When I asked, they told me I wasn't Stanford material. Daniel winces. The irony is, I never wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to fix the systems that fail patients. You have, he says, glancing around. Moldova is changing post-op care everywhere. A quiet space opens, honest and easy. The clinic's under investigation, he says at last. I submitted information anonymously, 15 years of it. 15. Starting when I left for college, my phone buzzes. Michael, picking up Leo early. Zoo day. Join us. Warmth spreads. This is the family I choose. What will you do? I ask. He squares his shoulders. File for annulment, cooperate fully, start over. He hesitates. I came to apologize for reopening your past, and to ask, will you get involved? The question hangs heavy. I could destroy them with one call, accelerate the fall. No, I say at last. I built my life apart, I'll keep it that way. Relief loosens his face. Thank you for seeing me. After he leaves, I stand at the window watching the city flow 40 stories down. A voicemail pings. Grace's number, the third this week. Michael calls as I grab my bag for the zoo. You sound tired, he says. I tell him Daniel came, that Medicare fraud clouds the family clinic. You okay? Yes, I'm surprised by how true it is. Will you get involved? A hawk rides a thermal between towers, effortless. I kept thinking about what you said. My success is punishment enough. I stand by it, he says, but it's your call. My computer chimes. Email from an attorney, Medicare's investigation unit. They want info about my time at Collins Family Practice, forms attached. Subpoena looming. They want me to testify. I tell Michael, what will you do? I breathe. Part of me wants to delete, let the tide carry them, untouched by my hands. Another part remembers the patients, elders who trusted them, benefits siphoned. I'll forward copies of original records from when I worked there. I decide. Nothing more, nothing less. The facts. I'm proud of you, he says. My phone buzzes again. Grace. Her third voicemail today. The first begged for money. The second threatened to tell Leo the truth. I don't need the third. I hit delete. The click feels final. Leo wants to see the tiger cubs. Michael says. Tell him I'm on my way. I glance back at my desk. Boston Memorial's contract waiting. Another network about to roll out what I built from sleepless nights. I close the door behind me, leaving Grace's voice where it belongs. In digital oblivion, some debts never balance. Some wounds never knit. But forward motion doesn't require forgiveness. Sometimes it only asks for release. Purple coneflowers nod toward the sun. I pinch one more spent bloom, drop it into my palm. 6 months since the wedding. 6 months breathing easier, like shoes that finally fit. Leo rockets between raised beds, cape flapping. Mom, can I water the tomatoes? Start with the peppers, I say, pointing to drooping leaves. They're thirsty. He grips his little watering can, tongue poking out as he concentrates. Mid-May warmth rests on my shoulders through cotton. No labels, just comfort. Michael appears at the patio door, 3 lemonades on a tray. Reinforcements, he grins, stepping into our modest garden. The same hands that replace heart valves, now offering cups to a 6-year-old with ceremonial flair. Thank you, good sir. Leo bows, almost spilling. Michael's eyes meet mine over our son's head. The silent sentence passes. This is what matters. This garden, this boy, this life built from truth. Davis approved the monitoring rollout. He says casual, but we both hear the meaning. The 5th major chain this year. Thousands more patients safer because we refuse to quit. That's number 5. Leo crows, counting his fingers. Mom helps sick people get better faster. I ruffle his hair, amazed at how he absorbs it all. That's the idea. The doorbell rings inside. Michael arches a brow. Expecting something? FedEx, maybe Swiss components. He returns with a different look, a certified letter held like it might burn. The return address is legible from the patio. Grace Collins Brooks. My stomach tightens, a knot I thought I'd untied. I'll be in my office. The envelope sits for 17 minutes. I finish projections. Michael leans on the doorframe. Silent ballast. I slide the paper free at last, cream stationery in Grace's neat hand. Amber, the clinic closed last month, not because of you, because of Mom and Dad. The audit found irregular billing for 15 years. Daniel left. He said trust can't be rebuilt on lies. He's right. I'm not asking for money. I know better. I need to say you were never the problem. I was taught to fear your intelligence, to resent your independence. They said cutting you off was necessary. I believed them. I was wrong. They were wrong. I'm sorry, Grace. Michael doesn't ask. He waits. I fold the letter, slide it back. What will you do? He says. Nothing dramatic, I answer, opening a new doc. I type for a while, print a single page. I tuck it and a note into a Medova envelope. 2 weeks later, I stand at the edge of the National MedTech Conference in Chicago, watching my team demo new features to a crowded aisle. The Medova booth hums. Our reputation arrives before we do. Movement flashes near the education pavilion. Pale blue scrubs, ponytail neat, grace. She listens closely to a talk on entry-level medical coding. Our eyes meet across the hall. No gasp, no spectacle, just quiet understanding. She holds the Medova internship application I mailed, gripped like a rope. I offer a small nod. Not forgiveness but acknowledgement. She nods back, eyes bright with something like resolve. We don't approach each other. Some stories are completed, not continued. That evening I sign paperwork for the Collins first-generation medical scholarship. Not for my parents, but reclaiming our name for something better. 20 students without family support, fully funded, mentored. Next fall, back home I kneel in the garden again. Pressing small holes for seedlings. Leo pats soil around soft roots. Some plants don't thrive side by side. I tell him, spacing them out. They need room. Like people? He asks, sharper than his years. Smart boy. I whisper, kiss his forehead. Yes, like people. The light goes gold over the yard. In the kitchen window, Michael moves easily through our shared space. I press another seed into dark earth, cover it with care. Some roots you inherit, others you choose. From the series. From the Cold Revenge Room.